Michael Miller. We have two very special guests today. City of Miami Commissioner Damian Pardo, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
And Javier Gonzalez, you're a regular on these shows over many years. And I want to make sure I got this right. You are the constituent liaison in Coconut Grove.
That's what I'm told, yes.
Okay. And I just want to make sure. You've been doing this for a while?
Yep.
So you know a lot about Coconut Grove. Not so much about the other things, but Coconut Grove.
Coconut Grove we got.
Okay. So, Commissioner.
Yes.
Let's talk about what is going on in Coconut Grove per se, and how and what we can all do to remember what Coconut Grove was and what it is and what it could be.
Good question. First thing I'll say is, I grew up in Coconut Grove. Javier grew up in Coconut Grove. Anthony Balsabry, our chief of staff, grew up in Coconut Grove. Carl Springer, who runs our rapid response, we're all from the Grove. So a lot of us remember and have that identity with us of what Grove was in the 70s and the 80s and coming up till today. So it's very important to us to maintain the character of that neighborhood. And it's a challenge whenever you have development and you have a lot of people moving into the neighborhood, and you have people that have been there, lifelong residents, and, change never comes easy, but much less when there's a lot of traffic, a lot of development, and a lot of challenges. And Javier does an amazing job as the liaison for the neighborhood because he is the front line that actually gets every single complaint and observation or concern, whatever it may be. It goes first through him and then to our office.
So how do you balance the rights of the homeowners, then the rights of the property owners that say, I'm done with the house over here, and it's zoned for such and such, and I want to put up this mansion next to this 65 or 70-year-old house, and the more I'm in Coconut Grove, the more I see that.
Yeah.
So how do you handle that?
The Grove has always been transitional, right? It's always been a product of its own success. And this goes back to the early 70s. We had this culture that just continued to add on and add on. So what we really do is, private property rights are very important. We have codes in place. So what I try to do is just kind of manage and inform residents as to, what can be done, how things can be done. We do work with folks with permitting. We have so many little weird quirks in our community because we are part of a neighborhood conservation district, which most people don't know. We're part of the NCD3 and the NCD2. So all of those details, I think one of the things that we offer in our office is that point of contact, right, where people can come to us and we can kind of have them navigate those little, weird little things that we have in Coconut Grove.
And along that line, Commissioner, Coconut Grove Playhouse has been this bedrock of the community for years, even when there's nobody in it. It's this conversation that takes place. So what's the most recent thing that has either is occurring or not occurring?
Well, they are moving forward with the plan, the county's plan for the Coconut Grove Playhouse. We in the city of Miami are moving forward with the MPA, with the parking garage, and we've had meetings with the neighbors, with the neighborhood for a long time about the character, the identity on Charles and on the backside of the Playhouse. So we think everything's progressing nicely. People are expressing their concerns. We've been listening to them, and I think what's coming out of it, the development that will ensue in the back part of the Playhouse, will be very nice for the neighborhood.
And Coconut Grove certainly is very eclectic. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I've seen some of those houses. You just imagine somebody living there 70 years ago, and the grandparents be turning over their grave. They see this two-story, $4 million house next door.
How much? 4?
I'm sorry. I'm from the old school.
Come on.
Sorry, Levy, my son-in-law. All right. Sorry. All right, 6. All right. But it's extraordinary, especially if you haven't been there in a while, and you can see this. I sort of hang out near the Playhouse over there. There is something really extraordinary to be able to walk up and down the streets and see people from all over the world there.
Yeah.
And so what's it like for you? You've lived there for so long, and you still see people coming, and you can look at them and say, you're not from Miami. I'm not just talking about city Miami. I'm talking about, South Florida. What's it like for you and knowing they're coming there to see what's going on?
I think again, going back, we are a product. We've always been a product of our success, and I think that's really what has added to our community, because we have people that have been here for a long, long time. I've been here since '65 in the Grove, and that's really kind of rare in today's world. But I think what it does is it adds this cultural level. And as long as we respect our traditions, as long as we respect what made us Coconut Grove, and that's something we work on a day-to-day basis, making sure that we protect a Bahamian culture, making sure that we protect, the natural environment, all of the things that we do to make sure that Coconut Grove continues to be successful and protect its roots, protect its heritage. I think that's something that is very, very, in our mindset as an office as a whole. Being Grovites, I think one of the things that we really look at is when we see something coming down the pipe, it's like, okay, does this fit? Does this work? Will it be, a project that will sit, for a long period of time? And I think that's really the most difficult part of the job, is making sure that we're, protecting that heritage.
And we work really well, as an example, with Commander Freddie Cruz. I think the rates and the statistics show it's safer than ever.
Yeah.
Coconut Grove, crime is way, way, way down, which is fantastic. We work on traffic all the time, so we work closely again with Commander Cruz and the police to make sure that we have as much enforcement as possible. I know we're always working on speed remediation in the Grove, as far as speed tables and signage, and
the baby carriages, make sure they don't go too fast.
Well, pedestrians, it's a problem because on a lot of streets the traffic doesn't show up in the form of cars.
Right.
It's pedestrian traffic, but it's still a safety concern. So
Victor Dover is smiling on us all right now when we say, yes, pedestrians, the traffic jams at the corner. As Victor, you were right 50 years ago. You were right. You're not that old, but close. All right.
But to pick up on part of the comment too, is a lot of folks don't realize that Coconut Grove is kind of like 5 little boroughs, right? You have South Grove, you have Center Grove. So South Grove doesn't have any sidewalks, so you're walking out on the street. So that's a different culture, a different vibe. And then when you go into Center Grove, that's more family oriented. You've got the strollers that you're saying, so you've got more of a traffic issue there. And I think that's really one of the things that a lot of people don't get about us.
Somebody told me they were in the North Grove Friday night, Halloween Friday night.
Yep.
They said there were at least 150 people when they were standing in whatever corner with kids all over the place.
Yeah.
Is that relatively new, or am I just way behind the time?
I mean, I've been there several years, and it's been that way.
Yeah. I would think after the last a population boom, it's become a bigger thing.
And that goes to the safetyness of it.
Exactly.
When I was much younger, we would go to Coconut Grove for 2 reasons: to find our guy and to find a gal. That was it. That was the only reason for going there. Now there's so many things to do. And some of I won't tell you the favorite places that I go to, but it's just phenomenal. And so we go up most weekends. Go there Friday night. I go back to the old ranch on Sunday. So, and let's talk about, lots of people talk about the traffic in Coconut Grove. There's a lot of traffic in Miami. It's just what it is. And we talked to the folks from CITT, and they use the word mobility. And when I was downtown, not in your district, another district, it was Sunday morning, we were out having breakfast. And every type of mobility, it could be skateboards, skates, Uber, scooters, the baby carriages, the little moped type, whatever those are. Tell us about how that's going to all fit in a little bit more into Coconut Grove, so people won't have to be taking their cars everywhere.
Well, I think we work very closely with law enforcement, with Commander Cruz, making sure that we are enforcing as much as we can on those alternate kind of e-bikes and ATVs and all the other kind of mobility vehicles that are out there. And that is also a challenge because we don't have the exact regulatory framework. So we are working closely with state partners, with county partners to see what can we do to bring more enforcement along those lines. The village of Key Biscayne was able to enforce to a much higher degree because they have streets they control, but we don't. We share them. County controls some streets, like Grand, like Ingram.
Ingram, South Bay Shore. 37,000.
And then the city controls a lot of other streets. So it really does take a village when it comes to addressing that issue.
Certainly people that are in cars, whether it's their fault or not, if they hit somebody, it's your doing, right? So are there places where people can really be, that are driving vehicles, right, with motors in them, can be a little bit more aware of what to do when some guy's taking his bicycle in the road? They're allowed to be in the road, and we're like this far from them. It's sort of frightening. I drive a truck. I'll go around the block so I can avoid these people.
Yeah.
So how can people learn about their responsibility?
I think one of the challenges that we have is our road size, right? We were created in the early 20s. And we have a lot of areas where we just do not have a lot of room, and the cars keep getting bigger and bigger. And there's also a perception issue, right? So one of the things that happens is people think there's a lot of speed going on, and there isn't. Like I got a call from a lady a couple of weeks ago, panic, that our solid waste truck turned off a Tiger Tail, and it was like doing 80 miles an hour. So every truck has a speed meter. It turned at 6 miles an hour. That's
And you know that because of what?
the speed meter inside the
So you
the
looked
car.
into
yeah,
it?
no. And then also in its general overview of like its whole day of service in the community, it never topped more than 15 miles an hour. But the perception becomes reality. Right. So I think one of the things we need to do is continue to educate, continue to, we have almost become, Mike, by osmosis, like because of our cultural, like we have bicycles on the road, just like what you said, right? Everybody does that. Everybody knows that they're going to veer off. So it's almost like we've created that kind of organically. Yeah, you still got some jerks that will, do speeding, and that's why we have enforcement. But for the most part, I feel that we're getting better at that.
And I'm glad you brought that up. My car got tagged a couple times for running a red light, all right? After Judge, whatever his name, died, I became a little bit more aware of that. And what I'm realizing that those lights make me behave more than ever before. Mm-hmm. It's like the light is yellow. Do you want to have to go to court to defend this? Just slow down and stop. So I think if there's more warnings that can go out there, like we're watching you, all right, mm-hmm. the safer it's going to be, for everybody.
Yeah, I think we do have to do a better job with education, even when it comes to issues like development, because a lot of people don't understand that there are builder rights, mm-hmm. that people have property rights. So they get upset that something is getting built, but it's the right of that property owner, as long as they're following the code, to build to those specifications. There isn't anything the commissioner can do. And the city administration and the commissioner's office are two different things. City administration is there to run the city of Miami. The commissioner's office, we represent the residents. So we can't go into the administration. The charter divides our functions. We can't go into the administration and tell anyone within the city what to do.
So because there's a boss.
Right.
And the boss is
the city manager.
And then the boss has got, and then the city manager has bosses.
The city manager reports to us. So that's the relationship. However, in this case, we're very fortunate that we have a very open system where a lot of the directors work with us closely. So we're almost like a concierge service for residents. We want them to come to us so that we can help navigate, collaborate, and make things better.
So one of the things we've seen frequently, where if the government does a good job in informing the citizens in advance of what could happen, all right, when they don't listen and they show up a year later and the bulldozer's there and say, here have been our 10 public meetings. Not too long ago, there were 3 or 4 big projects that got killed. They had to start over again because they didn't notify the public, all right? And so I know that's important for everybody. And you're looking at me, oh, yeah.
Well, because we've been doing that from day one. Yes. And actually, I think we came in doing that, whereas nobody had kind of been doing that. And we've been very successful at including the community and community groups. And it really builds resiliency for everybody because the community feels involved. They give input. The developer and development teams make big changes based on that input. So the end product is better. Residents feel included. We're happy because everything's functional.
and Javier, sometimes residents think that they have no power, right? But certainly when they sit down with a team of people and say, listen, that 7-story window is like right in my thing. Can you make the window on the other side of that? Yeah. And the developers listen.
The developers are willing to work within the boundaries that they have, and we've had some very successful projects, that have come at us and that we've been able to work. But I think going back to something that the commissioner just said is our office, the way that it's structured, is the first office in the commissioner's area where it is that concierge service, right? We have a liaison for Coconut Grove. We have one for Brickell downtown. So we have this contact person that before, and every day it's becoming more and more and more that residents feel more comfortable coming straight to us, right? And about addressing any issue. Like today I got something about sidewalk cafes. Right, very minor things that if they tried to go into the administration looks at it and says, this is like, I got way other stuff that I've got to do, but we're there and we can take care of, like all those little things that you notice, right? A pothole, right? That's a pain in your butt because you're running over it all the time. And you call 311 and God knows where that 311 goes, but you give us a call and that pothole's done in 2 days. And then you feel like, oh my God, somebody listened to me.
Yes.
and it's just a pothole.
And that makes a big difference in an area like Little Bahamas. We're the first commission office to open a district office inside of Little Bahamas. We've been working a lot with affordable housing, with the churches, a lot of faith-based affordable housing, which is incredibly important because you're actually able to take residents and help attract residents to come back into the neighborhood.
Commissioner, I'm glad you brought up about affordable housing. That's a major factor. Forget anywhere else, down here in Miami, in greater Miami. Some people say, well, that's not that's a legal definition. That has little to do with, what's really happening, except for it's not affordable, but that's the term. So whatever term we want to call it, how can you help the people that need housing, that have a certain amount of money they can spend, right? And they want to stay here. What's the process?
So we just completed, it's only a 10 unit for now, but we're working on a lot of other projects. I think in total about 150 units.
Currently about 150 with a thrust of maybe getting it to 250 in the city for us. Because county's doing other stuff.
In that area. In the Little Bahamas area specifically. And what's great about that, in this project we worked with Christ Episcopal Church. And these 10 units, two units are already completed, but it's about 500 square feet. It's about $800 a month for a studio apartment in the Grove, right off of Grand, where you can take the trolley free anywhere in the city, and it's a nice place to live.
We know there's a big move by the county to put up affordable housing. I think they've been doing a good job at it. They need to continue doing that. And so I think it was Alonzo Mourning and some of his compatriots put together a pretty big project. I'm not sure where it is, but housing starting at $550 to $1,200 or $1,500. Perfect. And so the people that live in the Grove, that want to call Coconut Grove their home, that have been there, their grandparents have been there, they want to stay there. That's certainly going to make them feel good. And so they're not going to go down and scream that they had to move. And they, at that point...
No, but I will tell you, we do have a challenge, and I think it's at the federal government level, because most of these leases adjust to average income. And sometimes it's about 10% a year. So you can start with an affordable rental, and in 6 years, it might not be affordable anymore, and you may have to leave. So there's something structurally within what we call affordable housing that we really have to look at collectively and make some changes.
To pick up on the point that the commissioner just made, so specifically, we have a senior project right across the street from our office. And the leases get, by law, there's nothing that can be done. Those leases get adjusted every April as soon as the Florida Federal Housing and whatever comes out, right? So we put people in there, and you're basically pricing them out within like 2, 3, 4 years, just simply because you're not going at the same rate. But more importantly, one of the things that we've talked about in the office and the way that we've structured all of these housing projects that we're working on is to stay at 80%. Even if we got a blend, right?
Of AMI.
Of AMI.
Average median income, which is about what, 50,000?
No, it's 90K in the county.
No, I mean
here.
80%. Yeah. What would that come out to?
No,
never mind.
No, do math now. Huh? Somebody bust out a math.
Right.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do any math. Don't do any math.
But 1, 2.
Yeah, but the point is that. But the point is that we're trying to get.
I know you went to wherever. Never mind.
Yeah, we're trying to get under the because the median income is huge within the county, but it's not with our residents. And also another point that the commissioner just made is it's not so much about keeping some of the people that are here, right? Because they're going to be here. It's bringing back, the young
displaced
folks
residents
that just that are down either in Miami Gardens or they're down in Homestead. That is the affordability that they could find, but they want to be here. So we have a list of quite a few residents that want to come back, and that's really where we're targeting back. And it goes back to our original thinking: is we are from the neighborhood. Like, we know this is something that we need to do, and I think, we're doing it.
And we're fortunate. We have good partners. We have the Coconut Grove bid right there in the business district. Mark Burns has been doing a phenomenal job. Monty, who everybody knows and respect. A lot of what we're talking about, that vision of this one Grove where you have this connected Grand Avenue that's functioning and vibrant, that's happening. We're living that.
Because the conversation so much about the Grove, when my wife and I went to the Coconut Grove, we went to the eyeglass place. I forget which place it was. Really fancy one in Cocoa Walk. All right. And she went there and she bought the glasses. She could have bought it 10 places from our house to that. We said, we're going to go there and we're going to support those businesses. Yeah. So I sat down with the dutiful husband and said, okay.
There you go.
You know how that works. So, like, one of the things that we recognize, when I go to my dentist, he says, you got this molar back here when, it's not doing too well. I said, listen, one day I may not have it, but I want to keep it back there as long as I possibly can.
I want to die with all my parts.
There you go. And so it is for people in Coconut Grove. So what can we do as a community to help that be there a little bit longer than if we didn't pay attention to it?
I think we do have to look at things like the tree canopy and bring reform that's meaningful and kind of stop these Sunday night tree, eliminations that sometimes occur. I think as a community, when we see those things, it's tremendously helpful to us when we engage with residents who are concerned. They can call us. They don't have to necessarily call code and put their name down and then have a neighbor, get into a fight with a neighbor. They can call our office. We're happy to explore what's happening with a tree. We are very much invested in keeping, preserving, and growing our tree canopies. It's 15 degrees cooler whenever you walk down a street that has a beautiful canopy. So we grew up in that. We want to see that preserved, maintained, and grow in our future. So we ask all the residents to engage with us. There's really nothing that's ever small, whether it's noise or the tree canopy or preserving our identity and character, anything at all, please contact us. By the way, on Instagram, it's Damian Pardo Miami is the Instagram site. It's not a great channel for us. The email is the best way to contact us.
What's the email address?
It's district2@miami.gov. And we all get it. We're all in the same email chain when it goes to that email. So it's a great way.
When you say all of us, you mean Javier?
Everybody in our office sees that email. So it's a great way to draw immediate attention to any issue.
It makes my life super fabulous, by the way. Yeah.
And if somebody wants to meet with the commissioner, how would they do that?
They just ask for an appointment, and we schedule it through our office.
When they call up, they should know, generally speaking, what they want to have a conversation about, so they can be prepared.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Instagram's a good site because if I'm at any event, I'm always available. So if you just know the commissioner's going to be at this thing like Veterans Day, which is coming up now on Tuesday, it's a big day for our office in Charles Avenue and Little Bahamas area. We're going to have a great Veterans Day parade. Instagram is a great source.
It's going to be big this year, too.
It's going to be very big, and we want people to come and enjoy. And that's the best way to stay in touch with events and kind of like general topics is our Instagram site. We do an agenda review, anything that's coming before commission.
They can see who's that over there. That's the commissioner. You can walk over, and I know you're going to be very busy when you're at the. So what's he liable to say when somebody says, "Can I talk to you about such and such a place?"
He will point at me.
Go see, and that's okay. All right. And that's okay.
I get a lot of that every once in a while.
If I'm talking to somebody, I'll do that. But I'm happy. Trust me that I am the last person to leave our events.
He is.
And I am happy. It's a pleasure for me and an honor to sit and talk to folks.
So what's it like for you, Commissioner, when somebody comes to you and they're upset and you're able to get them to a happier place?
That's thrilling. That's fantastic. It's an A for us. That's a big success.
And Javier, you've been in the Grove a long time. I'm sure you've heard a lot of things as well as the commissioner.
Yeah.
And for you, what's that like as far as
that's what? So the beauty of this in our office, and I believe this is that we're here to serve. There is, you get all that crazy about corruption and all this. No, we're here to serve, and I hear all of these crazy things, but we're here to take care of our residents. That's goal number one.
Yeah.
That's our goal. That's it. Our goal number one. And listen, we've heard a lot of things, right? A lot of things. And like I tell people, I spend half of my day giving civic lessons because there's certain things that we can do. There's certain things that are out of our purview. It's Miami-Dade County. It's the state of Florida, right? I could tell you right now, we're going through somebody asking about a corner on Virginia and on Virginia and US 1. And right now, the project is stopped because it's on US 1. It's an FDOT. So they need permission from FDOT to close a lane, to do this, to do that, to do the sidewalk, blah, 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 blah. What can we do? We've done everything we can. And, we've encouraged, we've moved everything through. So a lot of times it's just that. It's that explanation, because that's what residents feel, right? Residents get like a good feeling when you're kind of telling,
Frustrated,
but you're unfrustrating them in essence,
Yeah.
right? You're telling them, listen, we're doing this. These are the things that we can do. These are the things that we can't do.
It makes all the difference. And really, it's important for residents to know that when they collaborate with us, it's a win-win because folks that work for the city and the administration, all they want to do is their work and they want to please the residents. So do we. So when they actually come in and they meet the people that are doing the work, they usually are very impressed and very happy that they have a functioning city that's working for them as taxpayers.
We know what it's like when we call some company and we can't get to somebody and be able to take care of it. When you can find somebody that's taking care of the problem, which is typically giving them some information about how to solve their problem, then all of a sudden they go from like frustrated to really happy to say nice things. Does it get Google reviews?
I have no. I'm like antisocial. Like I'm like the antisocial
Well, not that
media.
kind of antisocial.
Anti-media social.
If they were verified, it would be one thing, right? I think I would be very happy.
Right.
But unverified, you're subject to the whims of political discourse and narratives that are out there that our office can't control. We try to put out as much quality information as we can so that people, that's why we ask people to come to us. If they're upset about something, if they don't agree with something, contact our office so that at least they can get the rationale behind why things are done or why they're happening. When we have those opportunities, people leave very pleased. They really do.
I get flowers.
Yeah, he does, and orchids.
I get
and
orchids
stuff.
and flowers and stuff.
That's great.
It goes back. It goes back to Mike. It's that one-on-one contact. Because you just said it. You call somebody, you go call a company, you get nothing. You get a runaround, or they're going to say, "Oh, we're going to pass you on to code. Or we're going to pass you on here." No, here a lot of times it's something simple, right? It's something that can be done immediately, like your pothole. And we did it. That is, I think, the real success of our office, and it goes to all the liaisons, is the fact that it gives. And I give Commissioner credit. This is a way of structuring an office that has never been structured this way.
Commissioner, let's talk about the farmers market right off of Grand. That corner, I parked nearby and I saw my 60s walking down the street. It was wonderful, right? Yeah, it's really extraordinary to see the people going in there.
I love it.
Is that every Saturday?
Yeah.
Center.
Yeah, it's great.
Extraordinary event.
It is. It's great. It's fantastic. I love going
And
there.
we're going to try to move it.
Yeah,
we're going to try to move stuff down to it works through the whole Little Bahamas. So hopefully we'll be able to on the Saturdays have a bookend over on 37th
So
and
to give
Grand.
you an idea, we're trying to move the last carrot next to us. We're trying to move. The dry cleaners is going to be moving to 37th and Grand in that corner. Things like the market,
UPS.
so you can understand how much we try to retain the character of what the Grove is. We think about that all the time.
The START program?
Exactly, the START
If people
program.
haven't been to that
Charles the
farmers
Barber?
market, it's extraordinary.
It is extraordinary.
And because, like 6 blocks away, you got all that going on up there.
Yeah.
And here it is, with their bell bottoms and all this stuff. And I'm yearning for those days.
Yeah, but listen, we should all really strive to retain the character of our neighborhoods, not just the Grove, because if we don't, we just become another, slab of steel type of city where people will be leaving Miami and going to the new Miami.
We'll be soulless.
Yeah, we'll be exactly soulless. We'll lose Little Havana, Little Haiti, Little Bahamas, all these places. As a community, we need to fight for that.
And we understand, and we all learned a long time ago, local, all right? Location. And people moving to Coconut Grove, as you point out, different parts of the Grove mean different things.
Yeah.
You have the brand new part, I'm not quite sure where that is anymore, right? And then my in-laws, they were near the fire station before. They were
Center Grove.
near the cemetery for a while. We just overlooked that there. And you realize how unique it really is. And we were thinking about this one area, I said, I can't even get my truck down the road, all right? Because the roads have so many trees on them, extraordinary. And
there's no sidewalks.
Yes.
And, they don't own them.
and I think that's part of it. Where I live, we said we don't want sidewalks. We don't want street lights because we know what that means. More people are going to be walking. So in those areas where the roads are thin, have a small car and don't have many friends. All right? So they can all pull up their little cars into there. So here we are. You're 2 years in, or you're
2 years.
2 years
In December.
Really? That went by pretty fast.
It's crazy how fast. It's crazy how fast.
How did that happen?
How much, and believe it or not, how much we've accomplished in the 2 years.
Yeah.
It's incredible. In Little Bahamas alone, we put in $45 million improvements and assets. We've been working on. We were told that we couldn't do Varick Park Pool. We did Varick Park Pool. We had said that you couldn't do this type of affordable housing. We have 148 units coming in. And all of this stuff is, and more the more we're challenged, the more we are told no. One of our lines in the office is, before you say no, how do we say yes? How do we say?
Wow.
And then the other one is little by little. I know it's not going to happen overnight. Right, we know it's going to take a while. Sorry, my
you have to be patient. I mean, sometimes there are issues like the lights on the street.
Yeah.
Doesn't involve us. Sometimes it involves FPL. It involves contractors that are not associated with the county or with us. So you really have to be patient. You have to be willing to go to each step and keep moving it forward little by little.
So one of the things that's happened recently is people used to go to Google to find their answers. It might be this many answers. Now there's a simple thing that's out there. You'll get an answer. May not be the one you're looking for, but there's the answer with
ChatGPT.
Right. And where we've gotten is that we want an answer a little bit faster than before. And so when people go to you, and they want this to be solved instantly.
But people really are good about understanding.
Yes.
If you're good about explaining, they're good about understanding. So we stress a lot communication. If you're bringing people along, if they hear from you and like, hey, I haven't received these answers yet, but I'm still on it, it's way better than them contacting you a week later saying, hey, where are we on this?
Yes.
Right? So we try to make sure that we're ahead of that game and that we're always communicating to the resident and bringing them along with us.
And how long have you been serving the public? I know about you, well, sort of, but we're going to get to the second
So I
question.
was chair of the Coconut Grove Village Council in 2013, and before that, I was probably involved just from the outside looking at probably about 20 years.
And why public service?
I've been doing it all along. I mean, for 35 years, I was a civic volunteer. This just changes it a little bit. I would tell everybody, like the Meg Dailies that are out there and other folks that have been doing a lot in the community, there is nothing better than this. You should run for this, for public office. Why? Because everything you were doing before, and largely for free, all of it, in my case, for free. I mean, I never received a dime. Now, at least you have some form of compensation. You have some form of, when you speak, people listen because you're in a position of authority, and you have assets to allocate, money to allocate for projects that you know are important to the community. You actually have the power to make those changes that before, you were always knocking on somebody else's door. So I really encourage folks that are out there that have been working in the community, that have already been doing the public service. When you're a voter and you're looking at who am I going to vote for, everybody should vote for the person that's been doing the public service, because you already know what their motivation is and what they're likely to deliver for you.
Must be pretty fulfilling for you.
Super fulfilling. Of everything that I've done in my 35 years or in my career, this has been the most fulfilling. I'm working with amazing people like Javier, like-minded. Everyone's there as a public servant, really trying to do the right things, and that is a phenomenal feeling to be able to do that. It's a privilege. It is.
Yeah.
And I think
You just said it. It's
as
a
we get
privilege.
older, that sort of starts creeping into your consciousness.
Yeah.
This might be the right time, whatever time that is. But when we see the young people wanting to go out and serve, and whether it's a local chamber of commerce or the homeowners association or elected position, they're on a great pathway.
Yeah.
And we work so closely with a lot of not-for-profits, especially this time of the year. And by the way, all you not-for-profits, call around, get your money, because next year you're not going to get it from the county. All right, they should be acutely aware of that.
Yeah.
All right, and hopefully there's Give Miami is coming up.
Yep.
Give Miami-Dade, right?
Miami-Dade coming up pretty soon, a
Coming
week
up.
or two or three, and you can call in, you can email them, and you can allocate money to different parts that you want.
And vote tomorrow.
Yeah, vote
In the
tomorrow.
city of Miami Beach, Hialeah.
Yeah, vote.
Tomorrow's the last day
Yep.
to
Yep.
vote. All right,
Yeah.
and so. Commissioner, thank you very much.
No,
for
it's
being
always a pleasure,
Javier,
Michael.
Thank you
Pleasure,
very
Michael.
much for being here.
Pleasure, thank you.
Many thanks to Priscilla, who's over
Yay,
there.
Priscilla.
All right, who's going to be graduating from FIU. There she is, right there. She's
There,
graduating
go
from FIU in the
Panthers.
middle of next month.
There you go.
You'll have your bachelor's in what?
Digital communication.
Digital
and
commu-
media.
Okay, so she handled out of her social media, and there she is doing an extraordinary job. Let's look at this camera right here. And Grant and I have adopted the new Disney rule, which is when you hug someone, don't stop until they do. Thank you very much for joining.